Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you once again for joining me. I am with another one of our amazing authors for Stepping into Gratitude, which comes out on November 8th of this year. So we are truly only about 5.5 weeks away, or 6 weeks. So that's very exciting. So I'm here with my dear friend Michelle, and there's so many wonderful things I could say about her. But what I will say before I ask her to introduce herself is we sat at a table for the first time in person almost a year ago, actually 11 months and some days, right? And we were a couple people apart from each other, and there was an exercise that we had to do just around talking about other people's vibes and what we knew. And it was a wonderful exercise. And our eyes locked across the table, and it was like, oh, we need to be friends. Oh, okay. And it was just that instantaneous. So it was very, very cool.
It
So,
was.
Michelle, yeah. So please tell everybody who's listening and watching a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on here. I'm always so honored to spend time with you. And she's absolutely right. That was probably one of the biggest moments out of that event that I remember was sitting at that table with you, which is really cool. So my name is Michelle Slaney-Trovato. I live in the greater Vancouver area of British Columbia, Canada, and I am a special needs mom. Is in a nutshell the heart of everything that you need to know about me. My background is in special education as a teacher, a high school teacher. And now I am a teacher turned entrepreneur. And I host the Living Your Legacy podcast, which sprang out of raising my now and under Canadian law adult son with disabilities. And how that has impacted our lives and our journeys. And I am launching a course to help other people create their own empowered legacy, specifically special needs moms. You hold a place in my heart that is near and dear to me. And I am looking at launching an apparel business that will include my son. Yep,
Wow,
that's news to you.
that's amazing. And I
Mhm.
also just want to put a plug out there because I think I read that you might be up for an award for your podcast.
Yeah, it got picked up by a TV station. And so I've been nominated for an award on the streaming service that's on Apple TV and Roku and Fire.
That's pretty amazing, Michelle. I'm just going to say, like, how unbelievable and all the things that you're doing. And I can't wait to hear more at another time, but definitely about the apparel business.
Mhm.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So, obviously, as far as stepping into gratitude, and you and I have had a lot of conversations on gratitude over the past
Mhm.
11 plus months. But what made you decide to be a part of this project in this book?
I will start by saying that being a parent is challenging. Being a special needs parent is hard. Like on the day to day, it is hard. I have to make difficult decisions. There are so many roadblocks to my son's success in life that I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. That very early on in his life, I decided that I really had two choices. I could either become angry, bitter, and sad all the time, or I could choose to look for the silver lining and be grateful for the directions that this is changing my life in and leading me in. And so gratitude's always been really important to me for a very long time. And when I saw that you were doing this book, I thought, gosh, I need to be a part of this because gratitude resonates so strongly with me on the daily.
Mm. Yeah, and that comes through so deeply in your chapter. And it, you never know what's going to come out of you, right? When you write a chapter, when you're writing a book, or when you're writing in general, poetry or otherwise. Um, and you can just feel, you can feel your chapter. That's the only way I can describe it. So, from a reader's perspective, but you as the writer, how has writing the chapter and obviously editing it and making some tweaks, how has that impacted you, Michelle?
I think it's a reminder
Mm.
for me of the fact that I need to look at situations that are going on with, for, around my son
Mm.
through the lens of gratitude. When I do that, um, like in a lot of cases, I'm actually grateful for the challenges that having him in my life has put in front of me, because it's made me dig deeper, rise higher, work harder than I ever thought I was capable of. And all in the name of being his mom.
Mm.
And so I in writing it, it was a good reminder for me of where we started and where how far we've come as a family and myself personally. So that was sort of the biggest impact, and a reminder that on the daily I need to be making sure that I look for the gratitude moments.
Mm. I love that. And, it's for me, and in knowing you, your cadence of talking, and you're just often very grounded and in the now and paying attention, which also comes through in your writing and in the journey. It's super beautiful. And you make it look easy. That's all I'm going to say. But we all know, especially based on what you just said, like, it's not always easy. So, just in those breathing moments and those grounding moments, it's lovely.
Mhm.
So,
Thank
with
you.
gratitude, I think what's interesting about gratitude is so many people define it differently. They look at it differently. They experience it differently. They practice it differently. So, when you define gratitude, what does that look like for you? How do you define it?
For me, it's a lot more than just superficial. I can say thank you and thank you for your kind words, because that's important. It's more about how I view the hard things. So again, do I let them beat me down and steal a part of my soul? Or do I let them fill my soul and fill my son's soul and fill our lives with more joy? Because again, things are hard. It's not an easy path ever. I don't know that there's been an easy day in the 19 years he's been in our lives because of circumstances around him having disabilities. But I don't have to make it harder for me, for him, for the people we engage with. When I approach things from a perspective of relationships and gratitude, well, people want to be around that,
Mhm.
right? They want more of that in their lives. People who are kind and who are willing to work with them, who are willing to acknowledge that things are hard, but to look for these it's like looking for the perfect stone on a beach.
Mm.
You got to look at them all until you find the one that really resonates with you. And I look for them all the time. And it's usually little everyday average moments that could fly by so quick that I don't even notice them. It's more about paying attention to them, to look at what is possible and what could be, and be grateful for those moments, because that's what keeps propelling us forward.
Mm. As a beach girl, that resonates with me deeply. But I love that too because it's very tangible. And I love that illustration. And so thank you for that. And you talk a little bit about I would say almost the practice of, and which I think is really important, especially for those that maybe are just dipping their toe into this world of gratitude and
Mhm.
understanding that it's bigger than just saying thank you, like you said. So, with that, how do you actually and actively practice gratitude on a daily basis? Or do you?
I do. So people talk about their morning rituals and having the morning time to journal. And oh my gosh, I would love to have that. The mornings are the most chaotic time in my house. It is not the time for me to sit down and do anything peaceful and calming, because I'm usually looking more like, "Ah," as I'm trying to get the kids out the door. So nope, that's not the time. And if I was to sit down, my kids would be like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you doing that?" So not a good time. So for me, gratitude practice on the daily happens at night. When I lie down in bed, I think about my day and I look for a minimum of 3 things that I can be really thankful for. Sometimes they're really simple things like we got out the door for school and I didn't have to like rush anyone, or it could be something as simple as, I had a really pleasant phone call today with somebody that I haven't talked to in a while. So simple. It can also be really deep, like, I'm really thankful for all the challenges today put in front of me. I walked my way through them being the person I really want to be.
Mm, mm,
It could be, thank you for letting me be the mom I knew I was capable of being. Today I raised my child up when he was very down, or today I created an opportunity that didn't exist before. So
mm.
it could be really big or it could be really small. So that's the daily one. And I find when I do that, it leaves me feeling very pleasant when I go to sleep. And often I have the most amazing dreams. So that's what works for me. I often dream that we win money. So I'm really hoping that at some point I'm manifesting that.
I love that. Well,
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just also going to say that the other piece that I do is a more public piece. The first one's for me. The other one is more public, and it came out of, oh my gosh, probably like, I want to say 12 years ago, a post that I did about my son saying my name for the first time, which for most parents is really not a huge issue. It is, but it isn't. After they say it the first time, you're like, I wish they stopped saying my name over and over and over again. And here I am as a special needs parent thinking, I wish my son would ever say my name, ever. I don't know that that's going to happen. And one day he did. He stood behind me and said, Shell, and I nearly died. It was like the best moment ever. And I whipped around and I was so excited. Of course, he feeds off that. So then he said it like 17 times. And I just did a quick little post about it. No pictures, no nothing. And the response I got was ginormous, that people wanted to know if there was a video, would I share more? And so I started sharing on Facebook. And I now have titled it A Tale of Two T's because our last name is Trovato and I have two sons. And it is an average, ordinary, everyday thing that I am thankful for, that I got to witness and be part of. So it's usually, I'm looking for those simple moments, like one day when my son's friends met him at our car and they walked into the building together. Now, again, not huge in the grand scheme of life, but when you have a child with disabilities, them having friends is one of the biggest worries you will ever have. And so the fact that his friends came to the car door and I watched him so happy walking into the building and thought, how blessed am I that I get to see that? I
Mm.
get to be a part of that on the periphery, that knowing that there were structures and things put in place to make room for that to happen. And so I share those moments publicly. And that's a big thing that I do. And lots of amazing feedback from people around having them stop to be more present in their day, to be thankful and grateful for average everyday moments that leave us feeling joyful or peaceful or calm or any of those wonderful words.
So I read that every day when you post it, The Tale of Two T's, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I think it ties back into one of the ways that I look at gratitude, which is about planting and spreading the seeds of gratitude.
Mhm.
And I think those of us who are what I would call gratitude practitioners have opportunities to do that in very unique ways based on our own life circumstances. And
Mhm.
I feel like that's exactly what you're doing because you can't not read what you write. I mean, it's so lovely and beautiful. And some of the pictures that you post with it, even just the example you just gave, I can see the picture so clearly that you put with that one of them walking into the building.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it does resonate and it's very deep and it's also so beautiful. And there's that intentional pause of, wow, okay, how am I practicing that? So, so lovely. And so thank you for sharing that. I also like this notion of public and private because I do a lot of my three gratefuls on Facebook, but I
Mhm.
have a whole private practice that I do also, and I don't often talk about that. But that's also very real. And I will also say, Michelle, you were the first person I ever spoke with when talking about practicing who did it at night. And, and a lot of people do it in the morning, but the fact that it truly can be done anytime and it's at the time that suits you. And, and so I love that. And thank you for bringing that up as well. I think, there's no right time. That has to be it. Just do it and be consistent about doing it, and you'll start to feel and experience those changes. So thank you for all of those insights.
You're
Which,
most welcome.
okay, so this is going to kind of lead me to the one question that I'm asking all of our authors, which is, what is one nugget of wisdom around gratitude that you would like to leave with those who are watching and listening with us today?
Well, I think it's a sort of a thread of what I've been saying. Um, Take the time to notice those little moments. It's so easy to get caught up in all day, every day, do, go, this, that, and the other thing we all have to do. It's so easy to get lost in the negativity of the media, of, you know, 86% of things you hear during the day are negative about somebody else or yourself. And that's not the stuff that goes on in between your own ears. So take the time to start practicing those moments. Like when you have I genuinely feel happy in this moment, notice it. What is happening around you? Be grateful for that, for the people in it. And then equally, when things are hard, because they're hard for everyone at some point, look for the learning. I often say to myself, who do I want to be in this moment right now? Do I want to be someone who causes negativity and grief? Do I want to be someone who bridges and connects and collects with people? How do I want to be remembered? Because people will remember me in these moments. We remember those that hurt us or that, are mean. Like, think if you had a customer service job, you remember that one person who nearly came across the counter and they were so nasty, but you equally remember the one who was kind, the one who you're like, I just like love this person. Wow. So notice those moments too, because if you are putting in the effort to be your best self as often as you can, and trust me, I am not perfect. And there are a lot of moments, if my kids were here, they'd be like, she is so not nice sometimes. They would absolutely say that. So think about those moments where you have something that's really positive to be grateful for, or can you look for the learning and the growth and be grateful for those challenges? They were put in front of you for a reason. And if you're still here and you're still doing life and you're still moving on, then you were supposed to learn something from that and put that forward into the next best thing you have going on. So I guess I gave you two.
And we will take both of them, Michelle. Thank you. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for your time. And again, Michelle is one of our amazing authors that is in the book Stepping into Gratitude, coming out on November 8th as an ebook, followed up shortly thereafter as a physical book. So please read her chapter along with others, and be inspired by their stories of gratitude. Michelle, thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, and I adore you. Thank you.